Morning. Thank you all very much. Let me just say a few things. Number one, it is clear, I think, to everybody that our campaign has come a very, very long way in the last 9 months. I think some of you will recall we began this campaign at 3% in the polls, 5% in the polls, 50, 60 points behind Secretary Clinton. And today, my impression is that it is nip and tuck right here in Iowa, that I think we probably have a little bit of a lead in New Hampshire. I think we're doing really great in South Carolina. We're doing very well in Nevada. To my mind, we will win here in Iowa if the voter turnout is high. And frankly, if the voter turnout is not high, we're going to be struggling. So what we are focusing on this week, and we have some 15,000 volunteers here in Iowa alone. We got a great organization. What our job is to make sure that as many people as possible come out to vote in the Iowa caucus, the first election in this presidential cycle. And if that happens, I think we are going to do just fine. I think also what we need to do is to reach out very significantly to non-traditional voters, to the younger people, to working people, to many people who have given up on the political process. And if we are successful in doing that, if we are successful in bringing out a significant number of the over 50,000 people in Iowa who have come out to our rallies and our town meetings, well over 50,000, I think we'll hit 60,000 by the end of this week. And if we can bring those people out, I think we are going to win here in Iowa. Now, the second point that I want to make is I had the privilege today to talk to a union that has been supportive of my political career from way back when. That is the United Steelworkers of America, one of the great unions in this country. And a couple of the points that I know the steelworkers, that I know the American people are concerned about, areas where Secretary Clinton and I have differences of opinion, are areas such as trade policy, such as Social Security. Now, here's the story with regard to Social Security, and it doesn't get the kind of attention, in my view, that it deserves. We got over 50 million people in this country who are on Social Security. And sadly, many millions of those seniors and disabled veterans are trying to get by on $12,000, $13,000 a year or less. And you can do the arithmetic as well as I can. People in this day and age cannot get by when you're 85 years of age, when you're 90, on $12,000, $13,000 a year. Now, my Republican colleagues think we should cut Social Security. I think that that is a horrific and ugly idea. I believe we should expand Social Security benefits, and the way you do that is to do what Barack Obama talked about in 2008 right here in Iowa, and that is to lift the cap on taxable income for the top 1.5% people making more than $250,000 a year. You do that, we expand benefits by $1,300 a year for people making less than $16,000 on Social Security. That is my view. To the best of my knowledge, that is not Secretary Clinton's view. And I would hope that she will join me in standing up with the millions of seniors and disabled vets who are struggling on inadequate Social Security benefits. Second area, which is enormously important. You are looking at a senator and a former congressman who has led the effort since his first day in Congress back in the early 1990s against disastrous trade agreements like NAFTA, CAFTA, PNTR with China, and today against the TPP. My record on trade is very, very different than Secretary Clinton's. I am glad that after talking about how good the TPP would be, finally, under great pressure, she decided to oppose it. But I think it is a real area of disagreement. I have opposed all of these trade agreements. We have lost millions of jobs as corporations have shut down in America, gone to China and other low-wage countries. If elected president, we will make fundamental changes to our trade policies. Our demand is that we create good-paying jobs in the United States of America, not China, not Mexico, not other low-wage countries. So those are two areas that I think there are real differences of opinion. Our views on trade, our views on Social Security, and ultimately our view as to which candidate is prepared to stand up to the greed and the irresponsibility of Wall Street and corporate America and create an economy that works for all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. Okay, questions?
Senator,
Yeah.
Clearly you have momentum according to the polls, and your message is resonating with groups like this and others in New Hampshire and Iowa. I'm wondering, with the backdrop of the email investigation with the FBI, if now you regret saying at the beginning that you didn't give a damn about Hillary Clinton's emails.
No, absolutely no regrets at all. In fact, I would argue that the reason we are doing well is that people understand we are trying to run a different kind of campaign, not one of personal attacks, one of dealing with the real issues facing the American people. And the real issue is that the American middle class is disappearing, that almost all new income and wealth is going to the top 1%, and that we have a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires to buy elections. I will talk about the issues impacting the middle class and working families, and I'm not going to be engaged in personal attacks against Secretary Clinton or anybody else. Yes, Nancy.
At the town hall last night, one of your young supporters told Secretary Clinton that many of his young friends feel that she is dishonest, and that's something that polls show she struggles with as well. When it comes to characteristics that make a good president, do you view Secretary Clinton as dishonest?
No, I'm not, again, you see, it's the same question. And guys, I gotta tell you this, in all due respect, and I mean this, Nancy. It's not what the American people want to hear. The American people are working 50, 60 hours a week. Their wages are going down. Their kids will have a lower standard of living than they do. I don't want to get into these personal characterizations of Secretary Clinton. Let me repeat again, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I have known Secretary Clinton for 25 years. This is a distinguished woman who's worked for many, many years. I like Secretary Clinton. We have differences of opinion on important issues, and those are the kind of campaign that I will wage, dealing with the issues that impact the American people, not making characterizations about my opponent. Yeah, all right, one at a time. Yeah, let's.
Super PACs on the campaign trail. If you're stumped, there's obviously a nurses-funded super PAC who's running ads for you. How is it not a conflict with the woman?
Well, the difference is pretty simple difference. Okay, Hillary Clinton goes out raising money for her own super PAC. I don't have a super PAC. And in the best of all possible worlds, which I hope to bring about, we will get rid of super PACs. We will overturn Citizens United. I do not have a super PAC. I've never raised a nickel for a super PAC. I don't want a super PAC. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So you said earlier that in order to win Iowa, you have to increase voter turnout.
Yes.
How do you ensure that that isn't concentrated in areas like Iowa City and Cedar Falls?
I'll tell you how. I have been to many small towns in the state of Iowa, and your point is well taken, and we understand that. We have some fairly sophisticated people who know about the caucus process here in Iowa, and we understand that if we get all of our votes in certain communities, it is not going to do for us what has to be done. So we're working hard all over the state of Iowa, and I think those that work will pay off. All right, maybe just one or two more questions. Okay, yes.
President Obama had some kind words for Hillary Clinton. He didn't go so far as to say he's going to back her, but he talked very positively about her. And I'm wondering, a lot of people talked about you potentially replicating what President Obama did here in 2008. Are you the heir to President Obama here in Iowa?
I wouldn't, look, no. Obama in 2008 ran a campaign which is really going to stay in the history books. It was an unbelievable campaign. I mean, in places they ran out of ballots, as I understand. I mean, the turnout was so extraordinary, nobody expected it. Do I think in this campaign that we are going to match that? I would love to see us do that. I hope we can. Frankly, I don't think we can. What Obama did in 2008 was extraordinary. But what we are doing, and remember, we started our ground game here in our organization in Iowa a lot later than Secretary Clinton did. She was here in 2008, has an experience that we did not have. She's done this once before, we didn't. She has a very strong organization, and I applaud her for that. But I will tell you that in the last couple of months, we have gained a whole lot of ground. And again, I think we stand a real chance to create a large voter turnout. I doubt that it will be as high as 2008, wish it was, but I don't think it will be. But I think it will be high enough for us to win here in Iowa. Thank you all very much. We're running late. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
He's on it, don't worry.
News came out today that Senator Sanders is blocking President Obama's nominee to head the Food and Drug Administration. The Hill newspaper reports the Democratic presidential candidate is opposed to Dr. Robert Califf's ties to the pharmaceutical industry. Califf is a cardiologist and Duke University researcher. The nation has endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. The Progressive magazine says Senator Sanders has summoned the people to a political revolution, and that's why they endorsed him.